Okay, so in today's video, guys, we are going to be going through the top 10 Piggy secrets that you may not know about. And of course, this is part 5. Now, because this is part 5, we are now giving you guys literally 50 secrets in total. That is how crazy this little series of mine has gone. And it does look as though you guys have been enjoying this series quite a lot. And don't worry, guys, I also have more to come. So, of course, we're going to be going through 10 more secrets today to tell you guys. Some of these you will not know about, and some of them you may have a fairly good idea that you knew about these. But first, if you guys could be using star code Antixx when buying Roblox or Premium, that would be much appreciated. And of course, if you do, make sure to take a picture and send it to me over on Twitter or Discord so that I can show my appreciation. So guys, 10 more secrets, let's do this. Number 1, OL. Now, there were quite a couple of skins that were kind of being leaned towards being owned by another skin, if that makes sense. For example, we have Dino Piggy. Now, George, you know, he had the dinosaur that did exist in the distorted memory map, and everybody thought that this Dino Piggy character may have been in some kind of like way of George's toy, if you get what I mean. I think I explained that very bad, I'll be honest. But guys, we have a brand new one that could be hinting towards being owned by another character. So I'm going to show you guys this picture right here. Now, this is of course Peppa Pig. Now, this right here is again Susie the sheep, which is Sheepy in Piggy. Now, as you can see in Susie the sheep's hand, she is holding an owl. Now, that's quite interesting, guys, because we actually already have an owl skin in Piggy. So it looks as though that Sheepy and Owl could well be linking together here. It looks as though that the owl skin could well be owned by Sheepy. And this is actually something that I only noticed the other day as well, when I was doing all of the copyright videos. As I was putting Susie the sheep up on the screen, I was like, dang, she's actually holding an owl. That's pretty cool. So that is why I included this secret into today's video. Number 2, the secret store note. Now, this is a note that a lot of people have actually forgotten existed. And this note did actually get brought up on Twitter just the other day. And when I saw this, I actually thought, you know what? I actually don't remember seeing that note. So we're just going to go over this note, and then you guys are going to go down into the comment section down below, and you guys are going to give me your predictions as to what do you guys think that this note actually means. So in the store note, just in the garage, you literally look right underneath the car, and there is a note that reads out saying, I heard something going on up north with the military. I wonder why they'd move their bases to colder places. You were a poet and you didn't know it. Whee! So basically, the military is moving to a colder place for some reason. Now, nobody really knows why, and there was this thing that happened in Stranger Things, which again, I feel like Minitoon could be kind of linking towards here as a bit of inspiration for the storyline of Piggy. Now, in Stranger Things, there was this big beast, this creature, this something that actually hated the heat. And to draw this monster out of this young boy, they basically had to make the room extremely hot. So this monster actually liked the cold. This monster literally lived for the cold. It had its windows open all the time and was literally trying to stay as cold as possible. Now, of course, like I said, when they tried to make the room extremely hot, they turned on all the heaters and stuff like this. The creature actually left the small boy's body. The creature inside of the boy could not handle the heat, which is why this creature basically fled. Now, could Minitoon be using this storyline as a bit of inspiration? Could the creature that we are about to see have something to do with the temperature? Could the main creature or the main enemy for Piggy Book 2 Part 2, could this actually hate the heat? And that, guys, could be the reason as to why we are heading up north. But again, like I said, I would love to know your theories down in the comment section down below. Number 3, grainy notes. Now, just the other day, I literally put this picture up on Twitter. Now, you guys may be asking, why did you put this picture onto Twitter? And I actually asked everybody, do you guys realize what is actually off in this picture? Well, guys, we have that grainy note that is, of course, always signed by Mr. Stitchy. Or, of course, if we see a grainy note, it's by Mr. Stitchy. Apparently. Well, long behold, this grainy note is in fact signed by Doggy. So it looks as though that these grainy notes are not always going to be related to Mr. Stitchy. It looks as though that this grainy texture on these notes basically mean that these notes are just old. Now, I do feel like we've gotten ourselves into this kind of like position where every single grainy note that we see now is going to be by Mr. Stitchy. And there's also another grainy note that is signed by Daisy. Right at the end of the Alice map where you just literally turn your camera around, there is another note on the wall, literally right there, that is signed by Daisy. So that is quite interesting that these grainy notes are not always going to be related to Mr. Stitchy. So guys, I think that when we see these notes in the future, we need to stop saying, oh look, there's a Mr. Stitchy note, because it's not a Mr. Stitchy note. It's literally just old. I'm saying this like I knew this all along. This is news to me as well. I'll be honest, this is news to me too. Because when I saw this note, I was like, oh dang, it's actually not Mr. Stitchy. This one's signed by Doggy, which is extremely interesting. So I do find that this secret is actually one of the coolest that I do have on my list here. Number 4, Pony's unexplained story. Now, oh boy, have I been on Pony's back for the old Book 1 series. Guys, Pony has got something still to say, and we still have not gotten any closer to what it is. Now, we know this because in the end cutscenes of the store map, I do believe it is, where, you know, Zizzy gets taken captive by Willow and her friends and her posse. Literally, Pony speaks about being, you know, he's been a naughty boy. He basically tells us that, you know, that there's a story for another day and that they're the Silver Paw, but guys, it's been quite a few days since that time, Pony, so yeah, get it out of you, will ya? Now, I did have some theory that maybe Pony kind of met Willow in prison or jail in the station or something like that, and then Pony did something bad. Potentially, you know, swapped around the vaccine that was Substance 128 to actually save Mrs. P, and maybe Pony actually swapped these potions around and caused this entire infection. I think that that is what I'm leaning more towards at this point in time, but this is quite interesting and still something that we need to find out in the future. So what do you guys think that Pony has done? That obviously there is a story for another day. Please let me know in the comment section down below, what are your theories on this matter. Number 5, the Intercity notes. Now, oh boy, have I been trying to figure out these notes for quite some time now. And I think I may even try to do a bit more work on these notes, because I do feel like I actually got one of these notes done. Now, this one right here, I actually again feel like this could be William. Now, obviously, I have to try and mess around with the letters and the numbers and stuff like that and try and figure out that there is stuff going on in these notes. But there was also that note somewhere that I have seen that I don't exactly know where it is. So again, if you guys do know, then please tell me in the comment section. But there is that note that basically says something along the lines of 4 comes first. So I wonder if this is in relation to the notes that are in Intercity, and Minitoon did say that these notes, they do mean something, and it is the hardest one that he has ever done. But apparently these notes, they actually mean something, and Minitoon did say that they are going to reveal something pretty big. So I think that I'm going to make that my aim for this weekend, to try and figure out these notes. Number 6, Gary the Gorilla. Now, Gary the Gorilla is going to be a character that we are going to be seeing in the future. I'm almost certain. So if I take you guys to the port map right here at the bottom of the board, you can see that there is a little note speaking about Gary, because apparently Gary is a little cheap guy and he makes you try and pay for everything. I mean,
if I was at the side with him, I'd be like, boy, pay for your food. Oh, and while you're there, pay for mine too.
So obviously this kind of billboard thing only mentions Gary. However, I'm kind of linking Gary towards a gorilla because in the store map you see that there is the Gorilla Airways. Kind of like, you know, Kitty's Kitchen and Grandma's Poutine and all of that stuff. There is also a Gorilla Airways literally right there. Now of course, because we get all of this like Zizzy, Zebra and Mimi the Mole and Giraffe the Giraffe, I'm putting the 2 and 2 together, so I feel like this Gary guy could actually be Gary the Gorilla. Now I'm actually excited to see what Gary the Gorilla is going to be like. Could Gary the Gorilla actually be one of the people down in that Medora boat? I'm not so sure. I would probably say no. I think that we're probably going to be meeting Gary the Gorilla at some point in the future. But I do think that this is a pretty cool little secret just to be adding in here. Number 7, the Katie Cross. Now when this skin was released in the factory, there was some pretty big controversial moments around this skin. Now this is something that actually I learned at the time as well. Now apparently in video games, you're not actually allowed to have a red cross on a skin. I mean, you're not allowed to have a red cross in a game at all. Apparently this whole little cross thing, it is forbidden in games. Now Minitoon did put a red cross on the hat of this Katie the Nurse skin, and I'm pretty sure that since then Minitoon had to remove the cross. Now I can't exactly remember the reason as to why you cannot have these red crosses in video games. Now I'm gonna Google it, and if I find something I'll put it on the screen for you guys to read literally right now. But Katie once had a red cross on her hat and since then had to be removed due to it being some form of weird law. Number 8, the research team. Now this is something that I actually didn't know about since when I actually did this Piggy quiz that my friend JB Bolter actually made for me. Now there was actually a research team that Mr. P actually, you know, got together. He got them together to try and figure out how to tackle this lineoma disease. And we know this because that there is a note that is in the plant map. Now I'm actually glad that this came up in the Piggy quiz because I do like to think that I have a pretty decent knowledge about Piggy and that this is something that I completely forgot about. So this reads out saying, Miss P, Sheepy, Bunny, our initial group is gone. Now, the researchers are too. I am truly alone. Mr. Bardetto. So Mrs. P, Sheepy and Bunny was the initial group of this research for the lineoma disease. And this obviously does confirm that Mr. P has confirmed that Mrs. P is now infected. Sheepy is infected. Bunny is infected. They are all gone. But again, a pretty cool secret to know that this was actually a thing way back in the beginning of Piggy, that these guys were actually friends. These guys were the research group for this disease. So thank you for that one, JB Bolter. Thank you very much. Number 9, Willow's anger. Now Willow was pretty grumpy, let's be honest. She's a fireball, isn't she? Now in the cutscenes, Willow said something along the lines of, hey, look, it's the officer that took my parents away from me. Well guys, we actually didn't take her parents away from her whatsoever. All we did was literally arrest Willow, but along the sides of Doggy. Now the officers that actually took your parents away from you, Willow, is Polly. And in fact, 2 Polies, not us. So Willow, do be getting your facts right, my lovely, and we will be expecting a sorry in the near future. But just to confirm, we did not take Willow's parents away. So I don't know if that's a little mistake on Minitoon's behalf. I don't know what you guys think about this, but we did definitely not do this. So I don't know why Willow has this great big anger towards us, because it should be towards Polly. Oh, and Polly was literally in the refinery as well, which is, you know, where Willow is all the time, and Polly was the one that actually infected Zizzy. So I mean, Willow, you should know the difference between the two. So again, we will be expecting an apology, won't we guys? And finally, number 10, my Piggy creation. Now if you guys didn't know about this, then I'm about to tell you guys something pretty pretty cool. What if I was to tell you that I actually own something that is inside of Piggy, something that I once created? And yes, I'm talking about this piece of graffiti on the wall right here in the sewers. Now, I did create this piece of graffiti. Obviously, there's quite a few pieces of graffiti around the place, and at the time, IKEA's tweeted out saying that she basically wanted to give us guys the chance to, you know, design a bit of graffiti and have it put on the wall for ourselves. Now, I was umming and ahhing as to, you know, do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? And the reason why I did want to do it is because it was graffiti. Now, I own a massive interest in actual graffiti. Here's an image of me right here next to a Banksy piece, literally right close to my house. Well, near it, I suppose, near it. Not anywhere near it, but like, you know, it's in proximity. And I do actually have a Banksy, you know, tattoo on my arm as well. So that is the reason why I actually did decide to do this, because of course these sort of things are normally for you guys to do and not normally for creators like myself to do. But I just wanted to give it a go for myself, and if IKEA's did say no, then, you know, whatever, girl. But this creation literally right here is created by myself. Now, it wasn't actually done how it was supposed to be done, because there was actually a lot more to the actual thing. So I will put the actual image up on screen for you guys to take a look at literally right now. Now, obviously, there was this like stenciled out like mouse with a roller paint type thing down in the bottom corner as well. And it looks as though they didn't actually put that on. And there was also more missing on the graffiti, which, you know what, is cool. It's cool if you didn't want too much on it, then that is fine. But I just love the fact that, you know, I've had a stamp inside of Piggy. That thing on the wall literally right there is designed by me. So that is one thing that, you know, for me, it's pretty cool. But anyway, guys, there we go. There is part 5 to the top 10 secrets in Roblox Piggy. Guys, make sure to be using star code Antixx when buying Roblox Premium. Guys, that would be much appreciated. But anyway, that's going to be it from us today. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we shall see you guys in the next one.